Last week we saw activists shut it down for Palestine in their institutions, in their schools, at their workplaces. And this week, activists are going to be kicking it off with a bang. They're going to be doing a disruption at the News Corp headquarters, which is the media conglomerate that owns Fox News and the Wall Street Journal. And they're going to be doing a disruption in the lobby and saying that the mainstream media is just as culpable as the Israeli government in the killings of over 11,000 Palestinians.
Now the activists are trying to chant over the police who are issuing orders for arrest. Some of the activists are staying behind, they're refusing to leave, and they're sitting on the floor. They're issuing last warnings for arrest, and some of these activists that are sitting on the ground here are staying behind and will be arrested. Do you have a message to people who are seeing this?
Do something. Everyone, if you're at home, get out here. Trust in each other.
So we just saw the disruption inside and several activists were arrested, and they're in this bus back here, and you can hear them, they're still chanting, they're beating against the walls.
Over in Brooklyn, people were protesting the genocide in Palestine in a different way: economic shutdowns. Local businesses across New York City closed their doors on Friday, all hanging the same sign in the window reading, "This place is shut down for Palestine today."
And you heard about the global data shut it down?
Yeah, we shut down. Yeah, here, but here in Arabic. It's like, I didn't have sign.
And
This 4 babies, 4 neonates killed by Israel.
And
2 months. 2 months.
why did
This is just 4 from almost now 5,000 neonate killed. And I close my store because this is the minimum we can do. What we can do more?
So the store is my brother-in-law's discount store, my husband's brother, and that one is his mini mart. And he shut it down today. He has 5 kids. He shut down his stores, even though he's trying to pay his bills, just to show respect, stand with the Palestinian people, stand with everybody who's been oppressed. And this year we're even skipping Thanksgiving because we're not going to celebrate oppression. Yeah, I think it's extremely unfair that everybody in America is working so hard. We're paying our taxes, barely getting by. Ever since Biden came into power, we have the inflation of the economy, and then we're just supposed to sit back and see our tax dollars go over to Israel, funding the genocide of innocent civilians that don't have an army, fix the housing crisis, fix the healthcare crisis. Why does Israel have free healthcare on our taxes, and here people are dying because they can't afford proper healthcare, or they can't afford their medication, because all the technology is there. It's just all down to money and power again.
In total, over 250 businesses throughout the city participated in the economic shutdown in some way. Activists began gathering at Bryant Park, the same place they gathered last week. Pretty soon after the rally began, another march coming from Union Square converged with the rally, and the group, which had quickly grown to thousands of people, began marching down to the Moynihan train station, a major transit hub. Before the protesters could make it to the doors, police raced on bikes to narrowly block marchers from entering the station and remove those holding open the doors. After a brief standoff, the marchers attempted to enter Penn Station directly behind them, but that was blocked off by police too. For nearly an hour, both stations' entrances were effectively shut down on 8th Ave, along with vehicular traffic. While New York was shutting down Moynihan and Penn Station, Boston was simultaneously shutting down South Station. DC activists had completely surrounded Union Station. People in Philly surrounded 30th Street Station. What the Shut It Down for Palestine movement shows is that there are huge numbers of people who not only want to disrupt business as usual, but who see it as necessary and are losing all their fears quickly. For the second week in a row, the Shut It Down for Palestine movement recorded over 500 actions worldwide. In Atlanta, they shut down the CNN headquarters. Chicago shut down the headquarters of the Chicago Tribune. Utah had a dine at the state capitol. Providence went back to the Textron building again to protest. Portland blocked the gates to Boeing. LA shut down the 405 highway. Detroit disrupted the Christmas tree lighting ceremony. Denver occupied the Colorado Convention Center, where a pro-Israel conference is scheduled to happen later this month. In Korea, protesters laid out shoes in honor of Palestinian children that have been killed by Israel. In Sao Paulo, protesters rallied outside the Israeli consulate. Italian dock workers and pro-Palestine activists blocked an Israeli ship carrying weapons and also took over the Leaning Tower of Pisa. And in Toronto, over 100 activists occupied the headquarters of Scotiabank, an investor in weapons manufacturers. For the longest time, people have waited for some massive change to come in Palestine, not realizing that they were waiting for themselves all along. The next global day of action has been called for November 24th, Black Friday. The politicians and media moguls that are backing Israel's genocide would love nothing more than for people to forget all about the problems in the world and spend their weekends shopping. They're counting on us giving up, losing interest, or getting seduced by another thing that we didn't know we needed. The global call to disrupt business as usual isn't just a call to disrupt big corporations and media outlets. It's also a call for us to reject our own business as usual. Do we want to go back to our old lives of consumerism, materialism, and living for ourselves? Or do we want to do something deeper and tap into that yearning we all feel to come together and unite for a higher calling, doing our part to stop the genocide of the Palestinian people?